Well wishes pouring in for 41. Former President George H.W. Bush. He remains in a Houston hospital right now, fighting an infection that has entered his bloodstream. But word today that he's responding to treatment and improving. Our own Jonathan Hunt is at the hospital with an update for us. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Trish. The former president's spokesman, Jim McGrath, saying on Twitter today that he had no new details on the president's condition, but he would, quote, happily reaffirm what he previously said, that President George H.W. Bush is responding and recovering. It is now more than 48 hours since he was brought here to Methodist Hospital, just hours after attending his wife Barbara's funeral. Also attending that funeral, of course, were former Presidents Clinton, Obama and George W. Bush. Now, President Bush's condition is said to be serious, an infection that has spread to his blood. That is obviously difficult for a man who is 93 and has had health problems. But his spokesman, Jim McGrath, said, quote, the 41st president wants to go to Maine this summer. He's the most goal-oriented person on the planet, and I would not bet against him. And today, as Barbara Bush's gravesite officially opened to the public, I think it is safe to say that we all hope former President Bush makes that trip to Maine this summer. Trish?
Absolutely. I hope he enjoys his summer in Kennebunkport. Our prayers are with him. Thank you so much, Jonathan. That'll do it for me here today. Catch me tomorrow on the Intelligence Report on Fox Business at 2 p.m. Eastern, where I am every day. Quick look at the Dow. Pretty tough day. Hopefully things get better tomorrow. My thanks to Neil for letting me sit here with you. He's back tomorrow. The 5 is next.
Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld with Kimberly Guilfoyle, Juan Williams, Pete Hegseth, and Katie Pavlich. The 5. Well, as our president welcomes his French counterpart, let's not forget how the media portrays Trump's harmful foreign policy.
Republicans really have a responsibility to talk about the imminent threat that they know, because they've seen behind the scenes, that this man poses to the safety and the security of the United States of America.
I've asked Twitter spokesman, does this violate Twitter's terms of service, making this kind of threat toward North Korea?
On the world stage, this president is humiliating America. No question.
Well, that didn't age well. So does the president of France agree with them?
We have a lot of work to be done together, but I'm very, very honored and very pleased, because whatever the context could be, this relationship is stronger than the events. And on top of it, we have an excellent personal relationship, so I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Our poor media. The sophisticated European adores our president. And why shouldn't he? He is adorable.
It's a great honor that you're here. But we do have a very special relationship. In fact, I'll get that little piece of dandruff off. That little piece. We have to make him perfect. He is perfect.
Oh, my God. Someone break out the therapy llamas, because every single narrative the media uses to slime Trump seems to flunk the reality test. It's a difference between Trump and Obama. Obama was beloved by our media, but our global adversaries saw him as a mark. Trump is despised by the media, but effective on the world stage. Let's review that world stage, shall we? Well, ISIS is more than handled for now. North Korea, bold moves by Trump may create an historic thaw. Syria, he drew red lines and then he enforced them. He made that historic visit to the homes of each major religion. He embraced the new Saudi leader, a key ally. He recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. And behind it all, he's rebuilding our military, telling the world that his priorities are that. And it ain't the vanishing polar bears. In short, Obama was the substitute teacher you could spin in 6 different directions. Trump is the scary football coach who runs detention. Here's what he said about Iran.
If Iran threatens us in any way, they will pay a price like few countries have ever paid.
Wow. There's a pattern here. When Trump enters the equation, an actual reset takes place, a reset that creates chaos, but it's chaos by design. As any negotiator knows, you can't play an adversary that you can't figure out. Trump's greatest asset, unpredictability, and he knows it. It's only our media who hasn't figured that out yet. They're still stuck on Trump's spelling errors. So, Pete, on a scale of 1 to nothing, to 10, everything, is Donald Trump the greatest president that has ever lived?
Indeed.
Can I buy an 11?
Yes.
Please.
That was a layup.
That's
Come on,
it.
I gotta
Yes.
tell you
Come
something.
on. I mean, you nailed it. I will give you your kudos.
Thank you.
As I know you appreciate.
I enjoy a good kudo.
The unpredictability is the key. When you're strong and you have confidence, and you believe in American power, then people, your adversaries fear you, and your allies respect you. And in some ways, what President Trump has done is a layup in foreign policy. He decided to stand by our traditional allies,
Right.
and stand up to the enemies of the free world.
Yeah.
Whether it's China on trade, whether it's North Korea, whether it's dictators, whether it's Iran. I think he'll scrap the Iran deal in spite of Emmanuel Macron's attempts to do otherwise. We haven't needed the French since, I think, 1775, but it's nice to have them.
It's good to have him then, that's for sure. Yes, exactly.
You know, Juan,
They've been resting.
Juan, you were saying in the green room to me earlier, I have to admit, Donald Trump is the greatest president that ever lived.
I overheard
So
it. Yeah.
Pete bought an 11. I'm looking for a 12. But maybe it's a baker's dozen because I think 13 is the bad luck here.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Love
pretty
it.
good, I have to say.
I am struck by what you're saying because when I think about foreign policy and I think to myself, wait a second, this is the guy you say enforced a red line. Of course, he was saying we should get out of Syria.
Right.
And then you had Republicans saying, oh, no, you better stay because you don't want to start any trouble. You need a force there. And then he supposedly enforces a red line. And, of course, then you have people saying, well, this was pretty ineffectual. He didn't do much here. So what is exactly the strategy? We don't have a strategy. And then I think to myself, well, let me listen to Greg. Greg is saying this guy is a great foreign policy leader. So I think to myself, well, that must mean that Macron has come across the ocean and he's saying, oh, Mr. President, thank you.
Right.
But in fact, he's saying you're wrong on the Iran deal. He's saying you're wrong on trade. He's saying you're wrong on Syria. And then Angela Merkel is coming at the end of the week, and she's going to, is she going to pat President Trump? No, she's going to enforce what Macron has said to Trump about disagreements.
But the thing that's interesting about President Trump when he has these meetings, whether it's with adversaries or whether it's with allies, is he always focuses on the agreement first. And as you've seen him come through the first year of his presidency, he has emboldened the allies, and he's kind of distanced himself from the people who aren't necessarily in our interest. Turkey is one of those examples. When it comes to Syria, he addressed that today. He talked about the Iran deal, he talked about the Syria strategy being, look, we want to get out eventually, but we have to have a plan because we don't want the Mediterranean, as he said, to be a free-for-all for the Iranians, and we're controlling that territory now. When it comes to the Iran deal, I also believe, based on the president's rhetoric in the past few months and also today, he said it was built on decaying foundation that has continued to decay, that the language is telling us he's going to scrap it. But the agreement is not necessarily, or the disagreement isn't necessarily the Iran deal is bad. There's agreement on that. There's just disagreement about how to fix it.
Yeah, what's plan B?
And whether you can fix it.
Yeah, so they're going to tag team him a little bit European style, right? So you had somebody that he has a very good relationship with interpersonally, has a lot of charm and warmth, and they seem to get along, besides the dandruff comment, well with one another. Head and shoulders,
You
somebody.
can really trust somebody when you do that, when you pick dandruff off their tire.
No,
That's
but
what the animals do. They groom each other and pick them, but then they usually eat the butt.
Yeah, but
I
the
saw it on
problem
National
is
Geographic.
the problem is
What?
that he's calling out the guy for having dandruff.
Well, that's like a little bit, yeah, but you know, anyway.
He is who he is.
The French like that. The French like that. They have a glass of wine later and they forget all about it. So what's going to happen is now Merkel has a much more contentious relationship. She's been quite critical of the president, but she's going to have to roll that back a little bit in terms of trying to get some diplomacy, because there are things that the two of them want. They want to be able to have him reconsider the Iran nuclear agreement, and he wants them to get involved and go along with what he wants to do as it relates to Syria and Iran in terms of that, geopolitical area that is strife with problems in the Middle East. So in terms of that, he's already got in his head some kind of negotiating chip of they're going to have to play ball. They're going to have to be respectful. She's going to have to stop with the incessant criticism, because guess what? She's no longer the Iron Lady of Europe that she was.
No.
She has been tremendously weakened politically across Europe with the problems that she's had there and in terms of the elections, et cetera. So see what happens the end of the week.
And I would argue, too, that the president has actually taken a little bit of pressure off of the Europeans by calling on the Arab nations around Iran, who are very concerned about them restarting their nuclear program, which they've threatened to do. He has said, this is your responsibility in your region, which allows the Europeans to take a step back and go, okay, this is in our interest to be involved here, But the people who really need to make sure the rules are being followed are the people in the neighborhood, and that is the Arab nations.
He's also reasserted the real power relationship between us and the European nations. I mean, Barack Obama was deferential to these countries that we have no business.
We were inferior.
Yeah, we were equal to them. We were not, we were all exceptional nations to him. But, you look at France, they've gutted their military to pay for their welfare state. They've opened their borders. They don't demand assimilation. They've got terrorism problems. They've got demographic problems. They aren't the world power they used to be. Sure, they own a seat on the Security Council. That's thanks to us in the UN. That whole global system is largely irrelevant. He's sort of just patting, wiping off the dandruff and patting him on the shoulder.
I do not have dandruff.
No, you don't.
For the record, I do not.
Nice to have you here, but we don't really need it.
In France, they call it shoulder snow. Just so you know.
Shoulder
Very
snow. Quite
sophisticated.
delightful.
Yes.
Look at Juan. Juan's like, what am I doing here?
I don't know.
You're
but
in a good mood because Trump made you laugh today.
Well, he did.
The president is humorous.
Well, actually, I was hoping that I would get some of the lamb. I understand they're having lamb at the state dinner
my
tonight.
favorite.
Dover sole last night, lamb tonight.
lamb.
I'm glad he's draining the swamp of all these elitists, who would engage in this kind of behavior.
Oh, it's lamb elitist food?
Lamb chops.
Yes.
At a state dinner. What is it for 150? Not a big state dinner, a tiny state dinner. I love it. Next time, you know what?
Liberal.
Jesse's not here, so you need somebody in that.
Typical liberal quibbling the details.
I know.
Going
But
after his spelling and his food.
but
By the
here's-
way, can I just show you one? This is, I just want to show you how special this relationship is. That every world leader, when they meet Trump, they come away with a special feeling. Take a look at this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
I like him a lot. It's an honor to call you my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Well, I love a bromance.
It's like a buddy.
I do.
It's a buddy comedy.
Yeah, it's a
Buddy comedy.
yeah.
It's what
is
you
that,
want to
good
do with
cop,
Jake
bad
Tapper
cop?
every day. Here.
More like Lou
What's that
Dobbs.
cop movie? I forget what the cop.
Well, it could be 48 hours.
48 hours, something like
Yes,
that.
48
But the
hours.
Or Lethal Weapon.
The problem here, the big problem is that you have Macron and the Europeans, that you guys, you sound like Don Rumsfeld, old Europe. They
It is old.
Yeah, but Europe, guess what? As Macron has said, the United States needs allies. We do need
We have
friends.
allies.
And they are our principal allies right now, especially in the war against terror. And so when you look at Macron, you're looking at a guy who's a globalist, Pete, a globalist, and Trump is an isolationist. And that's why the tariffs issue, the trade issue.
So he gets
is so
along. You should be celebrating the fact that he can work in this fashion with someone who perhaps is ideologically different or disparate than him.
No,
What a
I'm
home
fine.
run. Thank you for
I'm
making the
fine
point.
with that.
No, but and actually, one, I hope that Macron is able to talk to him about the tariffs. Maybe the tariffs is part of a bigger thing that Trump is working on to get like something that we're not seeing. Because I hate tariffs, and I hope that changes. But it seems to me that he listened to him about Syria. He listens.
Yeah, but Larry Kudlow is in there now, so let's
Europe
see.
exempted from the tariffs? I thought.
No. They have. No, the tariffs would affect Europe and specifically for the French.
I recall
They haven't happened.
Sarah Sanders saying that they took them off.
They
but I
haven't
could be
happened
wrong.
yet. Shall we move on, you
Yeah,
guys?
cheese and wine is still going to come in here. Don't worry.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Coming up.
Stupid question. Go ahead. Anybody else, please?
Even Juan, you laughing. You love this man. You love this man. All right.
All your teeth.
The question that prompted that response from the president next. See.
President Trump was asked a lot of questions today by reporters during his events with French President Macron. This one didn't go over well.
Mr. President, what about Michael Cohen? Are you considering a pardon
Thank you
for
very
Michael
much.
Cohen?
Stupid question. Go ahead. Anybody else, please?
The president scolding ABC's John Carl for bringing up a possible pardon for his longtime lawyer. Okay, so he said, stupid question. That's the way he says it, Juan. I mean, come on. He makes a point.
He makes a point.
I want to see your teeth again.
Well, you know what the funny thing is? I think lots of presidents probably think that. It's just that they don't say that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that was, what is it? The baseball player Bryce Harper says, clown question, bro.
True.
But it's not a clown question because, in fact, we know that the president has asked everybody about his pardon powers, and he's been pardoning people quite recently. like Scooter Libby and even Joe Arpaio and
Thanksgiving turkey.
yeah, and then yesterday you were talking about he's going to pardon the
Jack Johnson.
No, I didn't say he was going to.
But
I
it's
asked
possible.
him to, along with Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester
Yes.
Stallone. So
yeah,
I think that there's a lot of talk of pardons and therefore his ability to impact the Mueller investigation, but specifically lot of interest in Michael Cohen and whether Cohen's going to flip and provide evidence that could be damaging to the president.
He should pardon Anthony Weiner as a thank you note for helping him win the election.
And flip him, yeah.
He would flip, too. About John Carl's question, though, it wasn't designed for an answer. It was designed for a reaction.
Correct.
And that's different. Like for a question that wants an answer, what time is it? A question that wants a reaction, why are you a jerk? That's what it was. It wasn't like asking like a specific thing. It was designed just to get, and I thought he did a
But he got it.
Yeah, a very entertaining response.
Well, in order to pardon someone, you have to be convicted of a crime or charged with a crime.
No.
Essentially, the president's not legally and technically,
Right,
but
but
the
he wouldn't
president
preempt
is not going to pardon someone before they've even been charged with the crime.
I think,
so. The
I
only
think
thing
Nixon was pardoned, and Nixon was
that's
never
fair,
charged
but
with
my
a crime.
point is, the only thing that has happened to Michael Cohen is that, and it's a big deal,
Yeah.
but his office has been raided. We have not seen an indictment. We haven't seen charges. We have seen no connection in terms of Russian meddling or collusion as
haven't
the
even gone
special
through the
counsel is
documents.
looking for.
Yes.
We haven't seen the documents. They still have to make sure that people who are qualified and capable of looking at documents that are attorney-client privilege are not put into the category of being exposed. There's a long way to go here
Yeah, it
before
should
we
have a
even talk
special
about a
master.
Michael Cohen pardon. So you can ask this question, but the idea that he would pardon him before there's even a crime committed is pretty unrealistic.
Katie, they're obsessed
Asinine.
with pardons because they're obsessed with obstruction. They're
Correct.
obsessed with Mueller.
Right.
They're obsessed with the narrative. You know, I wonder, when are not just a question to you, but to the press generally, are they ever going to look themselves in the mirror
Right.
that they're grown men and women? They're yelling like kids at a 4th of July parade begging for candy. Like they just look pathetic in every moment. I can't imagine a scenario. I don't care if I see Mark McGuire. He did use steroids, but I loved him anyway. Walking down the street, that I would yell, "Mark, can I get your audience?" Like, there's no situation in which that
Oakland
happens.
A's
They do it
baseball, yeah.
every single day, and they look pathetic and small, especially when they ask questions like that. How do they help their credibility, which is already at an all-time?
Especially in a press conference about
Iran and Iran.
I'm having a moment. Just help me out, guys.
You were going so well.
Yeah, because everything was going so smoothly.
was.
But I recall that the last president we had was often badgered by reporters asking him questions that the conservatives thought
They were like, "Why are you
wasn't
so
even
beautiful?"
You mean badgered by
sufficiently
softballs?
That's what it was.
aggressive.
Why are you so
why?
handsome?
Why are you
and
the
so
best
smart
president?
Why
and
are you
so
doing
right
that?
about everything?
Oh my
You've got a
God.
little bit of gray hair. Is that because you're working so
yeah.
hard?
Tell me about the most intriguing part of your presidency.
Yes, that was it. That was it.
Tell me all about
That's
it.
why-
President
that's
You're
why-
going to
Obama.
seriously posit that they treat this
That's
president
a
the same way
serious
they did
president.
Barack Obama.
Well, he's not. Well, I don't think he's Barack Obama. I think he's a very different president. But that's a serious question about pardons.
I think
just as there's a serious question about Russian interference.
It would be a serious question if there had been a crime or potential in the works, and we just don't know enough at this point
But
to
Katie,
be talking about
the
pardons
FBI,
for Michael Cohen.
FBI on a legitimate warrant went into the man's office.
Doesn't mean there's
Oh,
any.
Obviously,
Doesn't mean he's
something's
going to
going
get
on.
charged with the crime necessarily.
No, but it means that judges thought there was sufficient
I will
evidence
give you
to
that
justify.
I will
the
give you
warrant.
that it is a legitimate question to ask down the road. But at this point, I'm not so sure how that would serve the situation at hand, given the
And
information.
it is time
we
and
have.
place.
Exactly.
I mean, it's weird because we talked in the first block. We talked about Syria, Iran, North Korea, and the media. It's a great example of adults and children. You have the adult problems, and then you have kids. I want to talk. Can I ask you a question about the porn scandal? That's what the press cares about. Why we're on the verge of a historic event with North Korea, possibly.
I would say that every time they do that one,
they
get him closer to re-election because they remind everybody how much the swamp and the elites are against him and hate him and out to get him.
Sure.
Every single moment they do that.
Really? So
But also the
all
mid-
of the stuff
but
with,
this is the
with
midterm
Scott Pruitt,
elections,
all the
too.
stuff with Ryan Zinke,
Yeah.
all the stuff with Ben. Nothing
What
of that
about-
is swamp-like. All the tax
What are you
benefits for
talking
the big companies, that's not tax. But you think this is swamp-like
talking
when
about the
I don't know what
reporters,
he's- yeah, what is wrong
when
with you? What's wrong with
reporters
him?
ask adversarial questions of people in power and hold them to account, that's wrong.
Okay.
I think that's
it was
good
wrong. I
stuff.
said it was petty.
Oh, petty.
But
Well, he's
also,
president.
this is all about trying to distract because they want to make some problems for the president and for the Republicans and the GOP because midterm elections are coming up and they need to show some wins on the board. Okay, so this
Wow.
is total distraction. away from important issues internationally that we face, that here's a chance to come together for diplomacy, and then they want to spin over there to the left
I mean,
corner.
you can't underestimate. I mean, if this North Korea thing pulls off, it gets pulled off by Trump, you can't. It's historic, and I think that's scary.
Well, they want to slow it down, Greg, so he doesn't get to that for the midterm elections and say, we don't want him to have another one.
We can't get him a Nobel Peace Prize.
They're
for the
like
midterms,
tripping him
right?
in the playground, you know, when he's about to go in and kick
You're going to have to
goal.
take the Peace Prize from Obama and give it to Trump.
Yeah, I want to be there for that one.
They'll be like, hey,
I
we need that
Let me
back.
ask you guys, you mean like even today, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, he can't even get the Macron visit, the bromance, to be the main story because of the Ronnie Jackson situation, which everybody's
Which is
where he
great
says
timing, right?
Jackson
Great timing,
should get
leaking
out.
that information. He was Obama's doctor who leaked this.
Who leaked this?
Yeah.
Well, there's
God.
plenty of motivations to take down any nominee.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I
Oh
mean.
my
Absolutely.
gosh.
My goodness gracious.
10
All
little
right.
Indians.
So this is what we have to say about the Nobel Peace Prize. Return to sender. We got somebody else to give it to. Ahead, Maxine Waters is so determined to get President Trump out of office, she's going to say anything, even if it isn't true. Her latest, her greatest, next.
Welcome back. Well, Maxine Waters, she's got a long history of flubbing the facts on President Trump. Now someone might want to get the Democratic Congresswoman a calculator.
Everywhere I go, people are talking about why can't you all get rid of him?
Right.
Why don't they impeach him? What's wrong with the other members of Congress? Why don't they stand up with you? Wherever I am, I'm hearing it, and I'm told that 70% of women who have been polled say that they want him impeached.
Now, we've done a little looking. We're not quite sure which poll it is that the Congresswoman says 70% of American women want the president impeached. Well, all this impeachment talk from the left isn't a wise idea, says far-left Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. Listen.
I'm angry at what he's done, but it is a legal constitutional standard. When we get to it, we collectively as a country will know it. As we did with, like, Richard Nixon, you don't just treat the principle or the political standard, the policy standard of impeachment that's embedded to how we deal with something as a political tool. It's a constitutional standard, and when that standard's been met, we'll know about it.
All right, so Juan, your party is debating to impeach or not to impeach.
That is the question.
That is the question. I did a little research. You had a piece in The Hill in November, The Politics of Impeachment, where you said that it would be wrong for them not to at least wink at the activist calls for impeachment. So you think there's a reason right now to call for impeachment of this president?
No. We're talking politics here, and the politics are that 70% of Democrats in the polls say they think Trump should be
So
impeached.
it's 70% of Democrats, not 70% of
That's what I just said.
women,
Yeah,
yeah.
70%
She
of
said women.
Democrats. I don't. Okay, but the key for the Democratic activists and the Democratic leadership is how do you signal to the base that yes, we hear you, but I think that Rahm Emanuel's onto something. You'll know it when you see it in terms of getting to that point. I will say at this point, I think Republicans want to discuss impeachment more than Democrats because they're looking to fire up their base. And we saw Ted Cruz at his announcement of his run for the Senate in Texas. Guess what? He puts out a video with, I think this is fake news, a fake anchor announcing Senator Schumer announces impeachment hearings for President Trump. What do you think he's doing?
No, I think, you know what? I think the reason why Rahm said that is because he realizes how silly Maxine is, because if you impeach Trump, you get Pence. Pence is to the right of Trump on everything. It's like impeaching Dr. Jekyll and getting Mr. Hyde. By the way, that's an endorsement of Mr. Hyde. He's very underrated. But it's like crazy. It's crazy. Well, you're going to get somebody way more right-wing.
Independents don't. There was a Marist poll that came out last week that showed that independent voters do not want impeachment. So actually, this hurts the Democrats more than it would hurt Republicans.
It hurts
in
the
in the midterms.
Well, but Tom Steyer, the famous Democratic donor, has been running ads, millions of dollars worth, saying need to impeach. I mean, can Democratic candidates afford to dismiss that base that wants that?
It's fool's gold. Knock it off.
Fool's gold.
Knock it off. Alert, babe.
You have to alert now.
Alert one.
All right.
This is a Fox News alert. There's been some controversy today surrounding President Trump's pick to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs. The Senate delaying confirmation hearings for Rear Admiral Ronnie Jackson over allegations of improper conduct at various points in his career. Fox News has just obtained exclusive new developments, and for that, we go to John Roberts.
Hey, Kimberly, good afternoon to you. Getting from a source some fitness reports and counseling records related to Dr. Ronnie Jackson that were signed by President Trump, but also ones that were signed by President Obama with commentary. President Obama writing, Ronnie's positive impact cannot be overstated. He is a tremendous asset to the entire White House team, already at a level of performance and responsibility that far exceeds his current rank. Promote to Rear Admiral now. So this would have been some years ago. Here's one dated 24 October of 2016 from President Obama. Ronnie does a great job, genuine enthusiasm, poised under pressure, incredible work ethic and follow through. Ronnie continues to inspire confidence with the care he provides to me, my family, and my team. Continued to promote ahead of peers. So a real vote of confidence there from President Obama. He also, in another fitness report, wrote, an exceptional physician and leader. Ronnie has been a dedicated and valuable member of my team. He has tirelessly ensured not only my health and well-being, but that of my family and entire administration. He has earned my complete trust and respect, continued to groom and promote this highly capable officer. One more, dated 23rd of October 2014, a most impressive leader who continues to perform at the flag officer level. Ronnie has earned my confidence and the gratitude of my family for his diligence and knowledge. Promote to flag immediately. And then one from President Trump, which would have been probably earlier this year. Dr. Jackson is a great doctor and leader, 2-star material. So there we have evidence from President Obama and President Trump, but President Obama more importantly, because he was not considering promoting him to be the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, giving laudatory accommodations to Dr. Ronnie Jackson, the Rear Admiral. But we have also confirmed that in 2012, Dr. Ronnie Jackson ordered a watchdog report when he and another doctor in the White House Medical Unit, Dr. Jeffrey Kuhlman, were going through something of a power struggle. The watchdog report found that they both exhibited unprofessional behavior that led to low morale among staff members who described the work environment as being caught between parents going through a bitter divorce. It was recommended that either Jackson or Kuhlman or both leave the White House Medical Office. So that Inspector General's report could be what people are alluding to today about inappropriate behavior and low morale in the White House Medical Unit. But if you compare that with the laudatory comments that were given by President Obama, I mean, there's definitely some ammunition there that might help him in his confirmation. So a struggle going on here between opponents of Ronnie Jackson, supporters of Ronnie Jackson. The president met with him in the Oval Office this afternoon. Earlier today in a press conference, I asked President Trump about Jackson. He said it's his decision, Jackson's, to make whether he wants to go through this confirmation process, which now, Kimberly, looks like it is going to be a fairly arduous process for Ronnie Jackson. So we don't know what he's going to do, but opponents and supporters are lining up here to give their say on what they think about Ronnie Jackson.
All right, John Roberts, thank you. Excellent reporting.
Thanks,
and Juan, I
Kimberly.
turn to you to get your reaction to this. You know, President Obama, those are his words and comments about it. How do you think this plays out and interfaces with what we've heard today?
Leaks, I tell you, these White House leaks are terrible. Why can't the president trust
He's good.
anybody?
He's
But
like-
the leaks are there because I think there's some people at the White House who are trying to make a last-minute stand for Jackson. But what the president said today, Kimberly, which is that if he was Jackson, he wouldn't do this anymore. I think that was a telling comment.
Those are fitness reports. They're done annually. They're OERs, officer evaluation reports. There's a lot of scrutiny that goes into those. When you're told to promote in front of your peers, it means you're an exceptional officer, which is part of his background for sure.
Yeah.
Get your suit ready, Pete.
Good thing the truth came out. Oh.
Thank you very much, Greg. All right, moving on. Kanye West, a celebrity, is on the MAGA train, and he's not pulling a Shania Twain. Coming up next, I Blame Greg.
Welcome back. Yesterday, we told you about Kanye West's defense of a Trump supporter. Apparently, Kanye is a big supporter himself. Listen to what he told Hot 97 host Ebro Darden.
Then he said, I do love Donald Trump.
He said that.
Kanye West, quote, I love Donald Trump.
Maybe that's just who he is.
And you think about who Kanye's been the entire time. Selfish, trolly, materialistic. Did I say selfish? He was like, well, I reached out to Obama for years and I couldn't get anything done. And Trump gave me a meeting.
Oh my God.
Wow. So how do you understand this, Kimberly?
Very well. I completely
Explain it
understand
to all of us.
I'll tell you because, one thing about Kanye West, he's not afraid to speak his mind, whatever it is at the moment, in fact. So he's saying that this is somebody that gave him an opportunity to come. Look at the picture and behind us here. If we take a shot of that, the two of them, during the transition time, he was invited because President Trump was inviting, at the time, candidate Trump, everybody to come to whether that they were on a different side of the environmental issues or climate change or business or building the economy. So when you show somebody respect like that, say, I want to take the time to see you face to face, hear what you have to say, that is respect. That was good. So he's being honest that the president treated him with respect. So why should he be beaten down because he told the truth about his own personal opinion?
Wait a second.
So
Wait
he
a
should
second.
be
Let me just come
punished,
back
or-
at you just very quickly
Yes,
because we're
please.
short on time. But in fact, he had just been hospitalized or something. He gets out.
Oh, okay.
Trump says to him, come on over. And then he says, on that basis, because Trump met with me and Obama didn't, I'm a big Trump supporter. And you think that's...
No, I didn't simplify it in that manner. It was actually much more expansive.
It is nice
than
when
that.
people actually listen to you.
Well,
but-
yeah.
So I'm allowed to be a Trump supporter, but Kanye West isn't?
I don't
No,
get
no,
it.
no,
So what's wrong with
said
him
that.
being a free thinker? I mean, the tweets that he did after the Candace Owens thing
Right.
triggered all this, where I'm a free thinker, the blinders are off, question everything, the thought police want to suppress freedom of thought. The mob is going after him because he decided to speak his mind. Why can't he? I don't get what the controversy is.
No. He can speak his mind, but I think that it's a matter of if you speak your mind, tell us why you are speaking other than the guy decided to meet
He's
with
a
you.
free-thinking black man in America.
Yeah, he's been very clear
Good for
about
him.
why he's speaking his mind. He thinks that you get punished, as he's seeing, for having a thought outside of the orthodoxy of what the left wants. And it doesn't mean that Kanye West is now a Republican or a conservative.
Right.
It just means that he's able to say things that are contrary to what everybody else is saying. It makes him an individual in America, and more people should act like that.
Okay, but Greg, I was just going to ask you about Shania Twain.
Yes.
Who then, she said she would have voted for Trump, but she's a Canadian, then she came back and said, sorry, I apologize.
We are at a point in America where you have to apologize for expressing an opinion on an election in which you didn't even actually do anything. You still have to apologize. We're seeing a combination right now of mob rule coordinated by the media, academic, entertainment complex. This is why thinking liberals like Dave Rubin, Brett Weinstein, and Sam Harris are worried because of the speed and the intensity of slander and demonization by the modern left towards anybody who actually thinks outside the box. It's going to happen to somebody that you know. Everyone, and it may happen to us. Right now, what's happening to Scott Adams because Kanye West tweeted about him. BuzzFeed, Mediaite, Business Insider will assign some lowly blogger to write some smear about him, and that's what's going to happen. The new morality, it's not church, it's not religion, it's actually the media mob.
All right. Up next, we're going to check in with Dana and Jesse. They're in Nashville right now for a very special event with country music stars. They're excited to tell you about it. That's coming up on The File.
Well, there may be a swanky state dinner tonight at the White House, but the real hot ticket is down in Nashville this evening, where Dana and Jesse are waiting tables for charity. They're at the 17th annual Waiting for Wishes Celebrity Waiters Dinner, and we want to hear all about it. Hello to Jesse and Dana.
Hi guys, how are you? What do you think of my apron here?
Yeah, tell us all about what you're doing tonight. Who does it benefit? Who's going to be there? Are my favorite country artists going to be there? And most importantly, are you wearing cowboy boots?
No, actually, Jesse just asked me if I was actually wearing heels because I'm so short. But no, we were told to wear our flats.
There we go. Is that better? Are we framed up? There we go.
There you go, Anyway, it's the 17th annual Waiting for Wishes Celebrity Waiters Dinner. It benefits the Kevin Carter Foundation and then the Make-A-Wish Foundation for Middle Tennessee. So we are going to wait some tables. If you go to the Facebook page for Dana Perino or for The Five, you can vote for either of us, and that also helps raise more money for all these kids.
And here's the deal. Dana really doesn't know much about the event. I invited her to the event, okay? This was my connection, all right? So now she owes me. I want deference on the show, so the next time I say that Rasmussen has Trump at 60% approval, I don't want to see an eye roll. I just want to see deference because this is what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I'll just bite my tongue. The other thing is that, well, Well, I was a waitress.
Yes.
So
She's
there's
got
no doubt
experience.
that I'm going to be really good at this.
How many plates can you hold?
But Katie, you asked me who else is going to be here. There's a lot of people going to be here. The Chrisley family, some for like reality TV family, that's a big deal. But Hunter Hayes, that's a good one.
Good. All right. And lots of good artists coming out for a great cause. Kimberly, I'm sure you're concerned about the food.
I am very concerned about the food, and I'll tell you, Dana and Peter can cook, so she's very handy with food and kitchen and excellent with like waiting on people and being very hospitable. So Jesse, I suggest you pick up some tips and tighten your apron a little bit. Looks a little bit.
That suit's way too nice, Jesse, for this thing.
I know.
You should have worn a
This
t-shirt.
apron's not tailored. Sorry about that. I was fired from my only job as a waiter after 2 days. So I'm in big trouble. But Dana and I have a strategy. I know no one in the country music scene, so she's going to identify those people for me. And she knows no athletes. Marcus Mariota's here, quarterback for the
I know Kevin Carter.
Titans. Yeah, Kevin Carter's here. You have some MMA fighters, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture.
He's the #1 waiter, Tito Ortiz. I heard that today.
He's
holds the
the
record.
top waiter. Okay, so there's going to be a little competition.
Oh, he's great.
But
He
vote
does a
for
lot
me
for
anyway.
autism as well. I've worked with him in Culture City. And
Yeah.
Dana, you had the country music star today too that you've known for a long time. He first appeared on Fox a long time ago. He was on with you.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So Josh Turner is a big star. He came in and was able to help out the 2 o'clock show, the Daily Briefing today. And he said that Greg is a foregone conclusion, that Greg will never like country music, but he thinks that Jesse could be turned.
Could be flipped.
I like really old country
Definitely
music.
open to it.
I like Patsy Cline.
If anybody can do it, Dana
I
will
know
do it.
you do like old. That's true. That's true. The older stuff Greg likes.
So let me get this straight. So if I'm at my table and I get Jesse as my waiter and Dana as my busboy, I guess, I don't know, and there's a fly in my soup.
Excuse me?
A fly in my soup. And I say, what do you, do I have to leave a tip? Do I have to leave a tip?
Juan, first of all, it's for the kids. Second of all, I really like how you characterized her as a busboy. That's very non-gender specific.
Bus
and I think it's
person.
very enlightened of you.
Yeah, Kimberly's straightening me
I'm
out.
helping
a bus
out, yeah.
person. Yeah. But anyway, I would be odd. I'd give you guys a big tip if I was there.
You better.
Yeah, the number 5
Well, you
horse
can
at
do that
Churchill
too. You can
Downs.
go online and donate.
Yes, you can afford it, of all people at the table, Juan.
And you can go online and donate. We hope that you do.
All right.
Well,
Greg,
great.
you don't have to go.
Great
but
of you
can go
guys to
online.
do this.
Oh.
Fantastic. Great
You don't have to
cause.
participate, Greg.
But you
can help.
still need a
fun.
computer.
Greg, you have tips though.
Oh, I do have tips. You know, if you have to approximate as possible what a waiter is. So Jesse, be sure and talk about your acting classes whenever you're waiting on a table. And Dana, bring up your screenplay, because that's only what waiters do, at least in New York City.
Exactly.
Pete, do you have any comments?
That's
true.
good.
The thing is that the apron is so big, it's like dragging on the floor for me. So we're gonna have to figure this out.
Don't think he's Schwimmer.
So you're working as a team, but you're competing for tips. Which one of you is more likely to throw the other
no, we're
under
not
the
a
bus
team.
to win? Oh, you're not a
We're
team
not
at
a
all.
team at all. No, this is going to be very cutthroat. I'm probably going to sabotage her. I'm going to pull the string from the apron so she falls apart. And, but it's for the kids.
Well, it's a great cause. So Dana and Jesse have fun and be careful. That's for sure.
Be careful.
One more thing.
Bye,
is up
guys.
next.
See you later.
Alligator.